I was oftentimes travel to California. My mother's since passed away now, about a year ago, but she was, at the time I was visiting her maybe 3 or 4 years ago, she was like 94 years old or something, and it was my birthday. I was staying with her, for several days to give her my, time. And anyway, so I was staying with her, and it was my birthday this one particular night and day, and she wanted to treat me. She wanted to take me to a restaurant. And, so my foster sister, who lives in Tarzana, she recommended, oh, there's a new restaurant on Ventura Boulevard in such and such a city in the valley. Why don't you go there? So I decided, yeah, let's go there. And so that restaurant's no longer there. I don't remember the name of it right now either. But when we went there, higher end vegetarian restaurant, nice ambiance, darkly lit, wonderful, plush, nice, furniture and whatever you call it, tables and chairs and booths. And so anyway, I was sitting across from my mother, and off to the right of me there was a table of 4 people, and sometimes you can tell that somebody has some type of special shakti or energy, and I just perceived that these people, they were some special people, and I asked them, well, where are you from? And it turns out, I think, that one of them was a film producer, and he had just returned from the Amazon, and they were totally into environmental causes, and they're very hip to yoga and that kind of thing, and so I made friends with him. And a little while later, I noticed these 4 women come in the front door. Like I said, it was dimly lit, so it's not real easy to see the definition of their faces, but I recognized one of them as a possibility of being Diane Lane. I said, that looks like Diane Lane. She's a famous A-list actress, has been in many mainstream movies. But I wasn't positive, so she came through and walked behind me into a table off to my left and behind me. And so I kept, as I was speaking with my mother, I kept glancing back to look. I was real curious. I want to know if that's her. I'm going to want to give her a book, And at one point, my mother became very annoyed, and she said, Dan, she said, you're being rude. She says, don't keep looking back there. It's not nice to stare at people. I said, you don't understand. I said, Krishna arranges for me to meet movie stars, and it's my duty at that time. I feel I have to give them my spiritual master's books. But she really wasn't having any of it, and I realized I had to just forget about it. Waitress came up to me, and I said to her, excuse me, is that Diane Lane, the actress? And she looked over and she said, no, I don't think it is. And I took it that she knew it was her, but she didn't want to tell me it was, because then maybe I would go harass her or bother her or something. So anyway, I'm meditating in my mind. How am I going to do this? This is seemingly impossible odds, How am I going to get a book to her? So then I came up with a game plan, and finally, when it was time to leave, I paid she paid the bill. And then we were parked behind the restaurant in the alley. So I walked my mother out there, put her in the car, and I said, Mom, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Is that okay? She said, yeah, go ahead. And so I had grabbed a book out of the car, and I went into the restaurant not knowing how I was going to handle the situation. It can be quite awkward, and you're an establishment, and they don't like their customers to be harassed, or especially if they're movie stars. So I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just thought I ducked into the bathroom and started to pray. I prayed to Lord Chaitanya, please, I know I have to do this. I don't want to do it, but I know I have to do it. I have to try. So please give me some intelligence how I should do this, And so I came out of the bathroom, and I walked over to those 4 people I'd made friends with, and I was standing in front of their table, and I looked at them. I said, I really feel like I have to give Diane Lane one of my spiritual master's books, but I'm really I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. And they looked at me and they all said, go for it. So I thought it was maybe Super Soul, just helping me, like through them, encouraging me. So I just decided, I don't care. I'm just going to go for it, And I turned around. I came right up to her. I stood right over her and I said, just in case you are Diane Lane. And she said, I am Diane Lane. She said, she was she started laughing. She was, I am Diane Lane. And then all her friends started laughing, and she was laughing. And I said, well, anyway, I want to present to you a gift. And she, oh, thank you. And I handed her the Perfection of Yoga. And I explained that George Harrison, the Beatles, was really into this author. He was one of the greatest saints to come out of India in the last 2 centuries. And I looked at her and I paused. I said, I explained that he's my guru. I said, I'm a Hare Krishna. She says, no. She says, no, I didn't. And I said, yeah. She said, and then I at one point I said to her, I just want to tell you, I said, I really enjoy your work. You're really a wonderful actress. She goes, well, thank you, like this. And anyway, the whole exchange was just really mellow and wonderful and not awkward at all. And they were all so nice. And I turned around, I walked out. Anyway, I think that it's important to note that a lot of times when you're, new people, and they may go out on Sankirtan, book distribution, and sometimes we get, you can get mental. But Krishna has a plan, and if we just make the endeavor, Krishna is very reciprocal, and he really wants that these people get these books. And she's no different from any other conditioned soul that needs Prabhupada's mercy, just like in prasadam distribution. Prabhupada made that point that we don't want to just say that we're feeding the poor. Everyone, Prabhupada said, is poor spiritually. Even these so-called big men of society, they're also poor spiritually, and they need the mercy. They also need mercy. So, she's just another conditioned soul who has some amazing good karma, but she also needs the mercy. And we can't let our own ideas of things, material calculations, stop us from doing our duty. And like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be a cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So I had my doubts. I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I had to do it. And I prayed to Krishna, and Krishna is the ability in man. He's the intelligence of the intelligent. And somehow there, Krishna was there to catch me, even though I put myself in an awkward situation. So all glories to Shri Krishna and Lord Paramatma, Srila Prabhupada, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, all the merciful Vaishnavas.